Good afternoon, baseball fans. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming. And this is it, our 42nd and final start of the 1969 Fergie Jenkins Payoff Pitch replay. And in today's contest, the Cubbies and Fergie traveled to Forbes Field to take on a loaded Pirates lineup, which features Matty Alou, Willie Stargell, Roberto Clemente, and Al Oliver, among others. As Fergie looks for win number 27, something he came up short of his last time out. In this game, in real life, the Pirates beat the Cubbies 2-0 behind a masterful outing by Doc Ellis and a tough luck loss for Fergie, which ended his final regular season at 21-15. Currently, of course, in real life, he sat at 21-14. In the replay, he's 26-11. ERA 3.23 real life, 2.10 in the replay. Innings pitched 3.03 and a third in real life, 3.21 and a third in the replay. I've actually used him more than Leo DeRocher did. Hits 279 in real life, 230 in the replay. Walks 70-50. Strikeouts 265 to 259, super close there. Home runs 26-21. And lineup time for the Cubbies in this final game of the replay. Back to the standard lineup used throughout most of the replay. And Leo DeRocher, one of the criticisms of him this season is he's stuck with his regulars far too much. He had 5 players, I believe, that played in 150 games or more, not to mention riding his top 3 starters, Fergie Jenkins, Bill Hands, and Ken Holtzman, to the tune of around 40 or over 40 starts each. So DeRocher believed in using his best players, and he really just wore the team into the ground. Not a lot of leadership on that squad. There were factions that arose later in the season after an incident between Ron Santo and Don Young over an error. So basically, it was just the perfect recipe for disaster. An overused lineup, friction in the clubhouse, which of course led to the collapse. The Cubbies have no chance to catch the Mets. In real life, the Mets finished 8 games ahead. In the replay, with Fergie pitching, the Cubbies are 4 games ahead of schedule or pace, 22-8 or 28-12 in games he started in the replay versus 24-16 in real life. Plus, in head-to-head matchups against the Mets, the Cubbies are 2 better. Overall, though, that only equates to knocking 6 games off that 8-game lead. So they're going to fall just short in the replay of making the postseason. So there we have a summary, and you're up to date. Lineups for the Cubs: Kessinger at short, Beckert at second, Williams in left, Santo at third, Banks at first, Jim Hickman in right. Oscar Gamble gets his 3rd start in a row in the replay in center field. Randy Hundley behind the plate, and of course Fergie on the hill. For the powerful Pirates, Matty Alou leads off in center, Jose Martinez at second, Pops Willie Stargell at first, Roberto Clemente of the cannon arm in right, Al Oliver in left. Manny Sanguillen had probably the lowest catcher squat in big league history amongst them. Is behind the plate. Jose Pagan at third, Freddie Patek at short, and the doctor is in the house. Doc Ellis on the mound. We're ready to go, and Kessinger set to lead it off for the Cubbies. Here we go. Play ball. It's going to be a ballpark result, and Forbes is definitely a pitcher's ballpark. That'll be an in-play result. But a great start as Kessinger gets a hold of that, ropes that into the gap in left center, and leads off the game with a double. So the Cubbies looking to get on the scoreboard early in this one, something that Ellis denied them in the real-life replay, or real-life game. Tough result to Beckert, and 59 is going to be a ground ball down to second base. That's going to move Kessinger to third, 4-3 on the putout. And Cubbies in business, 1 down, runner in scoring position, and the clutch bat at sweet swinging Billy Williams up. And that's going to be an in-play result. 79 to Billy Williams. That's going to be a fly ball into center field. And in-play result, not going to be deep enough to get the runner home from third, and we'll see if that comes back to haunt the Cubbies. Yeah, it's questionable there. Kessinger probably could have made it, but he is held, and Ellis kicks and delivers to Santo, and Santo drives that into the gap in center field, ranging to his left. Matty Alou pulls it in on the run, so a leadoff double is wasted, and a fly ball not shallow enough, and then a nice running catch in the gap gets Ellis and the Pirates out of the inning. Bottom of the first, Fergie set to face Matty Alou, and it's going to be a tough result, and Fergie, tough slider, but Alou fights it off, loops it down the right field line. That's going to rattle around in the corner, and the Pirates also lead off the game with a double. Matty Alou into second base ahead of the throw from Jim Hickman. Jose Martinez the batter, and Fergie made his pitch, but wasn't good enough to get the out. 64, that's going to be a ground ball down to second, and just like the Pirates, or the Cubbies, I should say, the Pirates use that to get the runner to third. So one down, a runner at third base. A little bit of deja vu here in the bottom of the first inning as Willie Stargell steps up. Wheelhouse Stargell, big cut. That ball is deep and gone over the right field wall. Pop Stargell. Leaves no doubt about that. And Forbes Field, not the best of ballparks for home run hitters, but Stargell got all of that. 22nd home run Fergie has given up in the replay, and the Pirates in the first inning have matched the final score of the real-life result as they jump out to a 2-0 lead as the great Roberto Clemente steps up to the plate. Clemente gets, here comes a pitch, and Clemente drives out off the end of the bat into right field, but plenty of room for Hickman to pull this one in, 2 down. As Fergie bounces back from that home run, Oliver the batter, left-hander. Defensive check. And that is going to be a range check on the second baseman. And at second base is Beckert, who has a range of B. And Beckert's going to get to that easily, makes a nice play in the hole. Short throw to Banks, and side is retired. But the Pirates come out of the gate firing. A 2-run blast by Willie Stargell gives the hometowners a 2-0 lead as we head to the top of the second inning. And Fergie and the Cubs in a hole. Ernie Banks set to lead it off, Mr. Cubby. And it's going to be a tough result, 82. And 82, ground ball down to shortstop, so Ernie Banks hits that hard, but right at Freddie Patek, who scoops it up, fires across the diamond. Right on target to Stargell to retire Banks. Patient result, 13, and Hickman's going to draw the base on balls off Doc Ellis, and the Cubbies have their first walk, second base run of the game as Hickman trots down to first. Oscar Gamble up, a left-handed batter, and 4, that's going to be a ballpark result, and 17, that'll be a wheelhouse. Gamble, a big swing, 1-17, it's out of here and does not come through. 74 is going to be a fly ball into center field. And routine play out in center for Matty Alou, 2 down now as Hickman trots back to first. He'd gone halfway. Randy Hundley, the batter. Hundley's got a little bit of pop in his stick. Another ballpark result. This is going to be in play, however, and Hundley. 0-1, and 0-1 is going to be a double into the gap again. And with 2 outs, base runner of 6 or more is going to score. Hickman is only a 5, so we go to the fast action cards, and runners only going to advance 2 bases. So runners on second and third, 2 down. And that brings up Fergie himself, and way too early to do anything here. Fergie's going to have to help his own cause. 3, another ballpark result, or in play result, 76, and Fergie not going to get it done. A shallow fly out center field. So the Cubbies get a hit and a walk, leave 2 as we head to the bottom of the second inning. 2-0, Pirates on top in Fergie's final start of the 1969 season. And Derek, Dodgers Royals fan, has joined us here in the ballpark. Welcome, my friend. In case you missed it, in the bottom of the first inning, Willie Stargell a 2-run blast to give the Pirates an early lead here. And Manny Sanguillen leads off the second for the hometowners. 8's going to be a tough result, and Sanguillen will be a fly ball into center field. And Oscar Gamble ranges back a few steps, pulls that in, 1 down. Jose Pagan, the Pirates' third baseman today, steps into the 7's going to be an in-play result. 16, and Pagan drives that right back up the middle, so a one-out single. And the Pirates, once again, have a little bit of threat going here in the second inning. And Pagan, see if he can get a jump, try to steal. Can't do it. That brings up Freddie Patek, and the Bucko shortstop digs in play result. Patek and Fergie not off to the best of starts in this one. That's going to be a line drive into center field. Runner on first advances one base. So station-to-station baseball, and that's going to bring up the pitcher spot. Doc Ellis. And Ellis looking for his signal for the third base coach, and he is going to lay down a bunt. Ellis is a B. So here we go, 5, and that is going to be to the third baseman, and 88. And 88 will be a successful sacrifice, so Ellis moves runners over to second and third. 2 down, back to the top of the order, and Matty Alou doubled to lead off the start the game for the Pirates. Later scored on Stargell's home run. Fergie looking to get out of this, and tough result, 80 to Alou. It's going to be a ground ball down to second base. Beckert, easy play, ranges a couple of steps to his left, whips it quickly to Ernie Banks, and side is retired, so the Pirates threaten again. They've racked up 4 hits in 2 innings off Jenkins. We head to the top of the third. Pittsburgh holding on to a 2-0 lead, and D. Smith has also joined the game. Yeah, I had to get this game in before 4 o'clock. I was trying to hold on to that extra inning game and had to get this started so I'd be finished close to 4. So here we go. Top of the third inning, and welcome to the ballpark, by the way, my friend. Kessinger set to lead it off for the Cubs. Tough result, and Kessinger 23, foul tip, and hung on to behind the dish by Sanguian. Strikeout for Ellis to start the third inning. Brings up the second baseman, Glenn Beckert. Ellis gets a sign, kicks, delivers, and tough result. Beckert, big swing, nothing but air. Looks at his bat. There's not a hole in there, so he heads back to the dugout cursing as Ellis, his first 2 strikeouts of the ball game to start off the third inning. Tough result again, and Ellis firing BB 70. Billy Williams going to get some wood on this, though. It's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop Patek. Easy play for fabulous Freddie, and the Cubs are set down in order in the top of the third, heading to the bottom of the frame. There is never too much baseball. I can't wait for real baseball to start in, oh hell, less than 10 days now. 10 days as of tomorrow. Yankees and Nats. Fergie Jenkins facing Jose Martinez here to start the third inning for Pittsburgh. And that's going to be an in-play result as Martinez pops that into shallow left field. Kessinger ranges back, parks under that, taps the glove, pulls it in, 1 down. And Stargell steps into a nice ovation from the hometown fans. He is the reason Pittsburgh is up 2-0 in this one. Fergie, though, out for revenge, and that slider buckles Stargell's knees. He's frozen, strike 3 called. Willie smiles, heads back to the dugout, tips his cap. Touché, sir. Got you, you got me. 2 down. Roberto Clemente up. And tough result to Clemente, 52. And Clemente is going to fight that off for an opposite field single. As the Pirates, a little 2-out and lightning going here. 5th hit, Fergie's given up in just over 2 innings. And again, not extremely sharp today, looking to bounce back to Oliver. And another tough result. 79 is going to be a fly ball into center field. And Gamble takes a few steps in, has time to camp out, pulls it in, side retired. So 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and 1 left for the Pirates. We're through 3. Pittsburgh leads us 2-0 as top of the 4th, Santo is going to lead it off for the Cubbies. Doc Ellis gets a sign. 63 is going to be tough, and ground ball down to second base. So 4-3 on the putout. Routine play for Martinez brings up Mr. Cubby Ernie Banks. And Philip Reynolds has also joined us at the ballpark. Frustrating day. What's up, buddy? I saw you. It looks like you're trying to get another streaming service to work on your computer. Not having any luck with that, Philip, still. As Banks digs in, here comes a pitch, and that's going to be a defensive check for Ellis and the Pirates. Be a range check at second base. 57 down at second base is Jose Martinez, and he has a range of B. He's going to get to that one easily. Fleet of foot is Martinez, so another 4-3 put out. Brings up Jim Hickman, 2 down. Doc Ellis has settled down after giving up hits in each of the first 2 innings, and 7 going to be an in-play result. Just like that, I cursed him. He gives up a 2-out single left field to Mr. Hickman. As Jim, on base for the second time today, brings up Oscar Gamble. 2 down. Cubbies looking to get back into this one. And 8 is going to be another tough result, and Gamble fights that off. Hickman, again, is a 5, so we'll have to go to the fast action card. Opposite field single, only going to be a 1-base advance. So the Cubbies, right after I praise Ellis for settling down, he gives up 2 singles back-to-back. And Randy Hindley with a chance to give the Cubs a lead if he can get a swat of this, drive it deep. And Hindley, ball 4 called. He draws the base on ball, sacks loaded, full of Cubs, nowhere to go. And again, though, it brings up the pitcher. So second time in this ball game, runners in scoring position, 2 outs, and Fergie, the batter. And again, too early to pinch hit in a 2-0 game. Fergie's got to help himself. Ellis, ballpark, 15, and 15 will be an in-play result. Fergie, can he help himself and come through 16? And he does. Fergie Jenkins, he's done it before, and that is a sharp line drive into center field. And runners are going to advance 2. We are tied up. Bases loaded, 2-out single. Fergie Jenkins coming through clutch, and he's not ready to give this season up without a big fight for win number 27. Tied at 2. Runners at the corners now. Top of the order. Don Kessinger, Ellis disgusted with himself. That's his rival hurler beat him. Tough result to Kessinger. And Big Don not going to get it done with 2 outs. Fly ball into center field. And another routine play out in center for a loose. Side is retired, but the Cubbies strike for 2 runs on 3 hits, leave 2. We are through 3.5, and we're all tied up at 2 in this one. Fergie Jenkins, again, about the 3rd time he's done that. On which one? The so RJ stream went down again. I wonder if he's having storms. I've noticed a few issues with streams the last couple of days. Hopefully, I don't jinx myself here too. As Manny Sanguillen set to lead off, bottom of the 4th against Fergie, and that's going to be an in-play result. And Sanguillen drives that back up the middle. Kessinger ranging to his left. Nice one-handed scoop and flip, and 1 down to start the 4th inning as Jose Pagan comes up. Pagan singled, made it 3rd where he was stranded his first time up. And patient result 42, and Pagan, and he's going to get plunked. Fergie, that slide didn't break, rode in on Pagan's ribs. The 2 acknowledge each other. That was not intentional as Pagan heads down to first base. Freddie Patek, the batter. And Patek, another patient result, and Fergie getting a little bit wild as he walks Patek. So a hit batter and a walk. 1 down, that brings up his opposing number again. And I'm going to have another bunt attempt. 76, and bunt is going to go back to the pitcher, and that's going to get the runners moved up again. So 2nd and 3rd. 1-3 on the putout, and 2nd sacrifice for Doc Ellis today, and brings up Matty Alou again. And in a similar scenario back in the 2nd, Alou grounded out to second base. See if Fergie can come up clutch again. That's going to be an in-play result. And Matty Alou drives that into center field. Is that going to fall? And no, coming in to pull that in is Gamble. So 2nd time today. 2 runners in scoring position, and Matty Alou's retired as we head to the top of the 5th inning. 2-2 in this one. And Glenn Beckert leading off for the Cubbies here, and that's going to be an in-play result. As Beckert grounds that into the hole, and ranging right behind the bag to pluck that is Jose Martinez, fires across his body to first. Stargell, nice scoop, 1 down, and Billy Williams, the batter. Sweet swinging Billy Williams today. He is 0 for 2, is flown out to center, grounded out to short. Ellis gets a sign and kicks, delivers, and patient. It's going to be a little too high, though, as a harmless fly ball into center field. Easy play out there for Lou, 2 down. And the Cubbies bring up Ron Santo. Ron Santo has been cleanup through most of this project and has been somewhat disappointing. Hasn't really been an offensive force for Fergie. And tough result, and 35, and he's not going to be an offensive force here as the fastball blown by him high and tight. Can't get the bat around as the Cubbies go down in order in the 5th. So we're halfway through this game at Forbes Field, and we've got a dandy going. 2-2, Pittsburgh and Chicago tied as Jose Martinez leads it off against Fergie in the bottom of the 5th inning. And another patient result for Fergie. This time, however, that's going to be a ground ball down to Beckert. So Fergie, a little loose in the strike zone today, has a couple of walks and a hit batter. And the man of the hour comes up, Willie Stargell, and Fergie's going to get tough with Stargell again. 79, this is going to be a fly ball into center field and nowhere near deep enough as Gamble's able to pull that in several feet short of the track. 2 down for Roberto Clemente. And the strong-arm Pittsburgh right fielder steps in. Here comes a pitch, and that's a ground ball down to Santo. Santo ranges to his left, sets his feet, throws, banks right on the money. 3 up, 3 down go the Pirates. So we're through 5, and we're tied at 2. Chicago and Pittsburgh heading to the 6th inning. Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, ready to lead it off against Ellis. And 10, that'll be a patient result, and Ernie Banks drives that into center field. Drops in front of the center fielder as the Cubbies have a leadoff single here to start the 6th inning. No action in either bullpen yet as Jim Hickman digs in. Checks the third base coach for the sign. Ellis has his signs. Here comes the pitch and another patient result. Both pitchers all over the strike zone today. It's going to be a fly ball into center field. Matty Lou pulls that in. Didn't have to move too far as Hickman retired. Back to first goes Banks. That brings up Oscar Gamble, the Cubbies center fielder. And that's going to be a patient result. And Gamble, he's going to draw the base on balls. So 1 down, runners on first and second for Randy Hundley. And we're in a familiar scenario. It's happened twice. Fergie's come up with runners on base. Let's see what happens now as Ellis. It's going to be a tough result, 51. And 51, Randy Hundley comes through. It's a line drive into center field as both runners advance 2, and the Cubbies have taken the lead 3-2. Runners on the corner for Fergie. A big RBI for Randy Hundley. And Hundley has been one of the offensive stars for the Cubbies in this replay. So at the corners now, it's going to get some action going in the Pittsburgh bullpen. And Chuck Hartenstein has started to get loose out in the pen for the Buccos. As Fergie steps in, looking to help his own cause yet again. Not going to be so fortunate this time as Ellis takes no chances, elevates a fastball. Fergie flails away aimlessly, and he's set back to the dugout on strikes. 2 down, top of the order. Don Kessinger up for a 2-out base hit here, and patient result to Kessinger. 64, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. Routine play there for the Pirates second baseman Martinez. And Sides retired, but not before the Cubbies get a couple of hits. The go-ahead run, they leave 2. We're heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. Chicago 3, Pittsburgh 2. And so I don't know. I don't use a streaming service, Philip. What's the deal with StreamYard? You only get X amount of hours to use free? And have you, let's see. I've got OBS on my computer. I've just never used it. I just stream straight to live. But yeah, so I don't know how StreamYard works, but I guess it sounds like okay, limited hours. Yep. All right. So back to the ballpark as Al Oliver. Pittsburgh now finds himself in a deficit, and Fergie throwing BBs and 35, but Oliver's going to get a hold of that fastball. tomahawks the high fastball into center field. A leadoff single here to start the sixth for Pittsburgh. And Manny Sanguin's going to be the batter. Fergie, again, he's been erratic at points today. It's going to be a tough result, not to Sanguin, though, and that slider. Sanguin swings over the top. Missed that by 5-6 inches, and strike three. Back to the dugout he goes. Jose Bacan, and Bacan, he is singled and been hit by a pitch today, so he has been on base both times. And patient result again, 69. And Pagan is going to get a hold of this one, ground it down to second base, and 5. That's going to end the inning. 4-6-3 double play. So the Pirates get a hit. But Fergie induces the ground ball twin killing. We're through 6 innings, and Chicago leads us 3-2. Looking for more against Doc Ellis as Hartenstein is ready to go when needed. And patient result to Glenn Beckert, and Beckert's going to ground that down to shortstop Patek. Ranges a few steps to his right. Sidearm fire to first base, and 1 down to start the inning. Sweet swinging Billy Williams up. And the Cubbies left fielder, he's 0 for 3 today. A couple of flyouts and a ground ball out. And Ellis, high fastball, and Williams gets a hold of that, drives that into right field. Clemente going back near the wall and the line, pulls it in over his shoulder. 2 down. Nice running catch out in right field by Roberto Clemente. 2 outs for Ron Santo, the Cubbies cleanup hitter, and Santo is going to draw the 2 out base on balls. So the Cubbies, once again, looking for a little 2-out lightning as Ernie Banks, Mr. Cubby himself, steps up. And Banks is one of the players that talked about the dissension and specifically the Ron Santo-Don Young incident as he recapped the 1969 collapse in later years. And Ellis is going to be tough to Ernie, and 66 as Banks grounds that down to second base, and that's going to end the inning. So the walk does not come back to haunt the Pirates. We're heading to the 7th inning stretch as Chicago clinging to that 3-2 lead. And for Pittsburgh in the bottom of the 7th inning, it's going to be the pitcher spot, which means we'll have a change. Hartenstein will come in relief. So we'll close the book on Ellis, and he was just inconsistent today. Ends up going 7 innings, gives up 7 hits, 3 runs. All of those runs earned. Did have some problems with wildness. As he struck out 4 and walked 4, did not give up any home runs. Hartenstein in 1969 appeared in 56 games, 5-4 with a 3.95 ERA. So he'll be tasked with keeping the Cubbies at bay and looking to pinch hit for Pittsburgh. Will be the youngster Richie Hebner. He comes out to the on-deck circle as Patek, ready to start the 7th off against Fergie. And Fergie looks like he might not be around long today, but he has rebounded nicely. 1-2 pitch to Patek, swing and a miss, and Jenkins sets Patek down. And out comes Richie Hebner. So Hebner against right-handers in 1969 hit a very commendable 296. Randy Hundley's going to go out and talk to Ferguson just to make sure they are on the same page. We're ready to go. Hebner set, has the bat on his shoulder. It's going to be an in-play result. And Hebner, it's going to be a fly ball into left field, and sweet swinging Billy Williams moves a few steps back, pulls that in, and 2 down, top of the order. Matty Alou strides to the plate. Alou today led off the game with a double and later scored. He is 1 for 3. Fergie gets a sign, and tough, 75, and that's going to be a fly ball into center field, and Oscar Gamble charging in, plucks at about waist high, and the side is retired in the 7th inning. So Fergie in a groove as we get late into this one. Chicago leads at 3-2. 8th inning underway. Hartenstein on the mound and Jim Hickman at the plate. And Hartenstein going to start this off with a patient result, and 85 will be a ground ball down to shortstop. Kessinger ranging in the hole, plants his feet, fires. I meant to say Patek, but the result is the same, a 6-3 put out. As Oscar Gamble comes up, Gamble today, he's gotten a lot of action late in this replay. He singled, scored, flown out, and also drew a base on balls. And patient result from Hartenstein, and Gamble drives that into right field. And Clemente, routine play out there for him, secures the catch with 2 hands, as you're taught to do. And Randy Hundley comes up, nobody on, 2 out. Hartenstein gets signed, kicks, delivers tough, and Hundley, 61, is going to be a fly ball into right field. And another easy play for Clemente as the Cubbies go down to the top of the 8th in order. As we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, Jose Martinez set to lead it off for the Pirates. Chicago leads us 3-2, and we're heading down the home stretch. Fergie looking for win 27 in his final start of this 1969 replay. He's going to get it going with a tough result, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. Beckert ranges a little bit to his left and fires it to Banks. 1 down. Willie Stargell up. Stargell gave the Pirates a lead, and he's going to look to give them a tie at this point. 36 is tough, and Fergie says, "You, sir, can sit down." Strike 3 with the high heat, and Stargell is retired. 2 outs. Pittsburgh running out of time as Roberto Clemente comes to the plate. Here comes a pitch, and Clemente skies that into center field, but it's just behind the bag, and Kessinger is going to have an easy play out there as the Pirates go down in order in the 8th. Fergie looking to finish out this 1969 season in style as we head to the top of the 9th inning. And a managerial decision. Fergie set to lead it off, and they're going to let him try to get the complete game. Why not? Leo DeRozier rides his starters, rides his starting pitchers. So this is very in line with what Leo would do, as Hartenstein set to pitch to Jenkins. And that's going to be a tough result. Fergie flails away aimlessly at that changeup. Didn't come close to it as he set down on strikes to start the 9th inning. Back to the top of the order. Kessinger going to be looking to give the Cubbies a little bit of insurance. And another tough result. And 80, that'll be a fly ball into center field. So Matty Alou is going to get to that. And 2 quick outs here in the top of the 9th for the Cubbies. Just in case, in the Chicago bullpen, closer extraordinaire Phil Regan. And Regan had 17 saves in 1969. He's starting to loosen up. As Beckert waits for the pitch. Here it comes. It's tough. Beckert. It's going to be a fly ball into center field again. So a busy day out in center for Lou. He gets 2 more outs this inning as the Cubs go down in order in the top of the 9th. This is it, folks. Bottom of the 9th inning. Final half inning of the year for the Cubs and Fergie Jenkins in the final game of this 1969 payoff pitch replay. So Fergie to finish it the way he started it with a complete game win. Cubbies lead 3-2. He's got to face Al Oliver, Manny Sanguillen, and Jose Pagan. Pirates looking to walk it off, and a defensive check to start the inning. That's going to be an error check on the shortstop, and Kessinger has an error rating of 5. He is slick with the glove. He's going to make that play easily. Not even a challenge as Oliver's retired, 1 down. Pittsburgh down to the final 2 outs. Fergie gets a sign, kicks, delivers to Sanguillen, and that is going to be a tough result. Manny Sanguillen, and Sanguillen drives that into center field, and Gamble goes back near the track and parks under that. He's going to have room to pull it in. 2 down. Fergie Jenkins looking to secure win number 27 in this 1969 payoff pitch replay. Standing between him and that is Jose Pagan. The Pirates' third baseman today has singled, been hit by a pitch, and grounded into a double play. Fergie's got the signal. Here he comes, 32, and 32 just out of range, and that's a sharply hit line drive, and securing that right at him, chest high. Kessinger, ball game over. Pirates go down in order, a complete game 3-2 victory for Fergie Jenkins as he gets win number 27, beating his real-life season total by 6 wins in this payoff pitch replay. So let's add up the final damage here. For Pittsburgh, 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors. For Pittsburgh, 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Fergie, the complete game victor. And he did give up a home run, the 22nd he's given up in this replay. Did have some moments of wildness, too. Actually, only 1 inning moment of wildness. He struck out a little bit below his average. He ended up striking out 4, walking 1, and hitting a batter. So pretty solid outing by Fergie, minus the home run to Stargell. But it's still good enough for the complete game win. Offensively for the Cubbies, the hero in this one most undoubtedly is going to be Randy Hundley. He went 2 for 2, a double single, and 2 for 3, double single and a walk, and drove in the game-winning run in the 6th inning. So he'll get the offensive MVP, and Fergie Jenkins honorable mention for his fine pitching performance. So that's it. This 1969 payoff pitch replay is done. Let's give the stats real quick. I'm going to put in Fergie's final stats based on this game, and we will give a summary and comparison. I know Leo DeRocher got a lot of criticism for using his players too much. I probably outdid him with the length I left Fergie in most of these games. All right, so Fergie's final stats for the replay: a record of 27-11, a fine season, a sparkling 2.10 ERA. Fergie pitched in 330 1/3 innings, a pretty good sum no matter what area you pitch in. Gave up only 237 hits, 81 runs, 77 of them earned. He walked 51 batters, struck out 263, gave up 22 long balls, and had a whip of 0.87. So an extremely fine performance by Fergie as we wrap this up. And coming up next on the channel, I ordered, should be shipping tomorrow, I ordered the 1921 season payoff pitch last week. Last Monday or Tuesday, I believe. And Joe said they are shipping tomorrow or Tuesday. So I'll have that set in the upcoming week. And what I plan to do with those is do a replay of the New York Yankees. So when that set gets here, we'll do an unboxing. I'm really excited to look at some of the cards and some interesting teams. The Yankees, quite honestly, did not really have a strong team that year in terms of an everyday lineup. Ruth, of course, had, again, probably the finest offensive season in the history of the game. He hit 378, 59 bombs, 168 ribbies, 142 or 145 walks, I can't remember which, an 862 slugging percentage, which stood until Barry Bonds broke that. So that's as good as it gets. And he also, I think, had double-digit steals, I believe 14, and even pitched a couple of games. So an outstanding season for Ruth. Outside of him, really, the Yankees had Bob Musil, who stayed with the team to be part of that 1927 Murderers Row lineup. Really not a lot of firepower outside of that. Wally Pipp at first base had a decent season. I believe he hit in the 290s. What really helped the Yankees that year is they had some solid pitching in a very offensive-heavy year in the American League. Waite Hoyt, Herb Pennock, I believe, was on there. I'd have to look. I don't want to say the wrong names. But pitching is what got it done. And just by comparison, the Detroit Tigers had an incredible offense that year. They had 6 players hit over 300, led by Harry Hillman and Ty Cobb. And all 3 of their outfielders, including Cobb, had double-digit home runs. And the two regulars that did not hit over 300 hit 281 and 299 respectively. And they still finished with a losing record because their pitching, their team ERA was well over 4. So they had all the offense, no pitching. So there's going to be some interesting cards in that set. So I'll be anxious to break those out, and we'll look at Babe Ruth's card, of course. Also check out Cobb's and Hillman's. In the National League, Rogers Hornsby that year had a monster season. So his card should also be something to look at. So we'll have fun looking at some of the cards, and we'll do a kind of preview and predictions of how the 1921 season will go. And what I think I'll do with that is use a fast play result or fast play sheet to replay the other teams' games along with the Yankees as we go through to see how they end up finishing. So appreciate everyone for stopping by. Derek Dodgers Royals fan. D. Smith, Philip Reynolds. Appreciate you guys stopping in at the ballpark and saying hi. Appreciate everyone who followed along this project. It's been a lot of fun. Took me a year to get done, but it got done. I get too much stuff going at once. I've got Glory Days boxing I work on. My job's busy, plus coaching high school football. So not as much time to commit to these games as I would like, but I definitely have a lot of variety in life, and that's what makes life worth living. So we will all talk to you later. Thanks again for support of the channel, and we'll be back. Next up on the channel, we'll do a lineal heavyweight title fight, and that will feature the surprise champion Denver Ed Smith making his first title defense against the Black Prince Peter Jackson in a bout that I fully expect the title will change hands in. And then again, of course, after that, the unboxing of the 1921 Payoff Pitch set when it gets here, and we'll slip in another 1980s inside pitch game next week at some point. So hope you all have a great time. And KC, Texas, 14th inning, that's still going on. So yeah, I had time to get in a full game. That's exactly 4 o'clock. I have to split, but I will check out the rest of RJ's game later. Take care, y'all. Have a great night. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and we'll see you.